It is the night before Halloween, October 30th, I believe. Yes, October 30th, and we are at the Indonesian Embassy for a scary movie night, which is pretty cool. So the way that they have it set out here at the Indonesian Embassy is they have decorations, a scary movie area, and then also a couple of food and drinks, but Halloween themed, but in an Indonesian style. So I won't film the actual movie because that'd be boring as hell. But what we can do is kind of check out the costumes and stuff, and the decorations around the embassy. They actually decorated the whole embassy for us, which is pretty cool. I'll do a quick walkthrough. It's pretty cool. So they've decorated the whole embassy with these cobwebs, which is pretty cool. And then they have signs for example explaining different Indonesian, I think, myths in regards to Halloween, which is pretty cool. Starting right now, so I can't be too loud because the actual ambassador is talking. But so that's the embassy in a nutshell. They opened up specific areas for folks to kind of look at, and they decorated the whole of the embassy, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna go watch the movie. It's gonna be a little bit of a shorter video, but without further ado, that is the Embassy of Malaysia for Halloween night. Happy Halloween, y'all. Hope you get plenty of candy. All right, so this is a post-film screening review of what happened at the Embassy of Indonesia a couple of nights ago. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts about the movie as a means to close the video. So I had to search up the title of the movie because I didn't fully remember what it was. So the name of the movie is Grave Torture, and it's by director Joko Anwar, who apparently is a pretty well-respected name, director-wise, back in Indonesia, because again, Embassy of Indonesia, they were showing films, from Indonesia and stuff like that. So to provide a little bit of context, after I spoke with one or two of the embassy staff, they mentioned that out of 20 horror films that they had to watch, they picked that one, which I found very interesting. I wondered what the other 20 were all about. Maybe different mythological myths or legends or something like that, tied in with horror for Halloween. I'm not sure, but I found it comical that they had to watch 20 horror movies. Or maybe they just researched it online and then they picked it. But it sounded to me they actually had to watch them, which sounds pretty cool. So the name of the movie again is Grave Torture. And so the basic premise is that it's about a woman who sets out to disprove the idea of supernatural torment after the death of her parents after a violent act. I don't think I can say it on YouTube because the video might get flagged. But just know that her parents died very unexpectedly. Just imagine religious persecution in some way, and then, you can maybe connect the dots together. But her parents die. The entire point of the movie is to show her quest of trying to disprove the idea of supernatural torment. And so she spends literally, I think, all of her younger life and adult life trying to find the person that influenced the person that, killed her parents,
and why this like happened. And then after a series of events, she tries to disprove the idea of supernatural torment. It sounds like a very confusing plot line, which it kind of is, because like there were a bunch of time skips in the movie that confused me, frankly, because I had to read what the plot was like afterwards. I think like one of the embassy staff members also mentioned that they had to watch the movie like 2 or 3 times to understand like what it was actually about. I feel like I would have to do the same thing because there were certain things that I didn't necessarily understand. Maybe there's like a lack of cultural context in that regard because I'm not from Indonesia, and I visited Indonesia maybe a couple of times, but for vacation and not exploring mythological Halloween like movies or something like that. So the interesting part of this is that since Grave Torture is about a movie where the main character tries to disprove the idea of supernatural torment, so apparently the topic of the movie is very sensitive in Indonesia, according to an article that I found. So the religion of Indonesia, so 90% of the population in Indonesia is Muslim, and so the director Joko Anwar said that he did not want the film to be judgmental, which is very interesting, because like the movie does go into a great detail about not believing in religion, their religion, you know what I mean? Disproving this idea of supernatural torment after death. It's very analogous to, like, for example, if you're Christian or something like that. I'm not, but it's just like, if you sin, then you go to hell. That type of, like, religious, like, metaphor. It's very interesting. So I find it very fascinating that the movie was a little controversial in some respects, and, the topic was, like, pretty sensitive in Indonesia. On IMDb, the movie has apparently a rating of 6.3 out of 10, so out of 2,000 reviews. But I feel like we're getting to a place where like movies from critics versus like the fans are two different things in terms of reviews. But yeah, I think like overall the film was good. It certainly was scary as hell because like I was trying to figure out like what the heck was going on. Plenty of jump scares if like that's your type of thing. From a plot perspective, I think it was just confusing because I think I got more confused rather than scared because I was trying to understand the direction and the nuances of where the plot was going. So that was just me. I feel like it's the type of film, again, that you need to watch 2 or 3 times, like Inception. Like, I still sometimes, like, it took me so long to understand, kind of like, especially with that plot twist at the very end, spoiler alert. But yeah, you have to watch the film, I think, to understand the full breadth of the plot, the characters, the nuances, and what the director intends. So that's my review of Grave Torture. If I had to give it like an arbitrary rating out of 10, I would say like 7. Yeah, like overall a decent film. Not the best horror film that I've seen, but again, it's from like a different country. There's a lot of cultural nuances that I didn't understand. So I feel like if I did, it would boost the rating, obviously. But people enjoyed it at the embassy. I laughed, honestly, hysterically at some of the jump scares. I was like, this is hilarious. And like folks were like freaking out and stuff like that in the crowd. But yeah, overall, 7 out of 10. Not a bad film, decent horror film, and a good way to celebrate Halloween in 2024. I'll see you around. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more content. See you next time.